To you already know what's going on, Ronnie.
Hello, everybody. It's another episode of Comics Della Morte, episode 21. I'm Blake. And here we're continuing our story.
I was like, you're not Blake.
Right. Yeah. I'm Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Isle Comics. This is my co-host, Jason Alexander, Frogbreaker Studios. And we're continuing our story of Dinosaurs versus Marsbots, created by Gary Hodges. Really great book. Jason, I'll let you start off talking about what you think so far of the book that we're now reviewing more to.
Okay. Part 2, Dinosaurs versus Marsbots, y'all.
Of 1975.
1975. That's right.
Yeah.
This is the first part of the story complete. But this is like the completion of the first big arc. And man, I tell you what, it did not disappoint. It felt like I kept getting the vibe with what we discussed last week. It felt like Law and Order or like NYPD Blue, like gritty. And then as the story progresses, when they're in the car, you realize like these guys are space, alien hunters pretty much. So it's like this is like Men in Black. And the story went nuts last week. They got to that double wide with the hole in it. And I won't say too much because I want to get to what we're talking about now. I'm just looking for my Dropbox. For some reason, I can't find it on my tablet. But they get to this trailer. It's got the hole in the side of it. And all hell breaks loose. Like it's like an alien war. And the end of where we discussed last week ends up with them firing shots at an alien. And the story picks up from there. And I tell you what, this juncture of the story, Ronnie, to me I love this part of the story. I felt that the last part of the story was fantastic. But I felt like that this really, really just kind of the action ramped up so fast, and it did not let go. The rest of the book.
Oh yeah, very action packed.
Plenty of pages, but this like went from action packed to like full tension as this ramped on. Again, man, Gary went off like. We talk about books a lot here, guys, but like Gary went off on this one. And so how much do we just want to just break this down just this way? Okay.
Yeah, we'll break it down. I mean, first off, starting with this panel, just the wide panel here, very great. I love the whole sound effects going across. And it's great because it shows another aspect of keeping it black and white. You could have the whole streaks of the bullets flying across, or even the lines drawn across, and having that dramatic pose, and having the helmet cracking right there with the other alien wearing the spacesuit, indicating that there is some type of like gunfire going on. So you don't need to show the bullets, and you don't need to have a dramatic like effect to show like gunfire. You could just have straight lines and indicate what's going on.
And you also establish that these aliens they know what they're doing. It's not like this is an overpowering threat, but it's still, this is different. And you see that as it goes on. But just piggybacking on what you were talking about with the black and white here, the bulk of the books that we've done have been at least black and white in part, if not the whole book has been black and white. But and we've seen all different ways of it being done. We've seen it done in Uzumaki, which, as everybody knows now, is like my favorite book that we've done on this channel. And, seeing all these different phases of black and white through the different, time periods, like how Scott used black and white a lot in his story, but it was still a little bit different because it was an 80s story, and it still felt like that. And even like in my own personal experience working with an artist like Aaron on doing a black and white project, this still, like, Gary's is not better or worse than any of those, but it stands out as very different because he doesn't do, it's black and white, but he doesn't do a lot of grayscale. Like you can see like this alien in the background where his hand is covering his face. It's solid shadow, but there is there's no gradation other than that. There's no, you see the speed of the bullets, but
especially also sorry cutting you out, but especially also the whole second alien where you see he's wearing space gloves. All it is a white line drawn over like where the black is, And
it's just enough to separate it from the background, but it's also enough to say not only are our two heroes shooting at aliens, but they're shooting in the dark. Like it's like you get the feeling of like what these detectives must be feeling in shooting in the dark at a space alien. It's like you don't know what's going to happen, but you're about to find out, what the consequence of doing something in a dangerous situation because you're nervous is. This. I don't know if you get ready to show this next page yet.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna show the next page, but also before we go on to the next one, this is a perfect example to show that all you see here is the sound effects and the aliens. You don't need to have a background with every single panel. You could have a background just be plain white or just a solid black and still try to get like the action across with the panel you're trying to sell,
Looking back from like right at the end, like from the big hole to the broken down body in front of the hole to this kitchen scene, which is like full of blood spatter and everything, all this different texture in these pages, like a panel without a background, it works even better. Like it immediately locks your eyes into saying, okay, you've looked at the black and white world of humans this whole time. And yes, it's gotten weird, but now just in the dark, but in the same house, aliens and a tank that should not have been punctured with a bullet. And it's going. Sure.
And like everywhere. This scene right here, you have more of the kitchen and more detail. But I believe if Gary had drew more of the kitchen, it would kind of take away from the whole like gunfire that the aliens are having upon them. So sure. As an artist, you kind of want to have sometimes blank backgrounds, so you're just focusing on the action that's going on in the page. So really great stuff.
Totally. Yeah, just the artwork in this is just fantastic. It was a lot of there's a lot of landscape backgrounds, which really like brought you into the scene and it like walked you in. And then as it like you got through the desert heat and you come to this house, like now it's like you feel the heat, but now the contents are under pressure, right? Like this house is like very small in comparison to what we've seen. And it feels that way. And the danger of it is things, like I said, like this tank getting punctured. Like that's part of the danger element of not being in this sweeping landscape that we were in the beginning, where you would expect for the aliens to be, like you would expect to see aliens out in the desert. You wouldn't expect to see a UFO parked behind a double wide with a cannonball hole through it, Yeah,
for sure.
So it's just, I don't know, it's just stellar.
And with this scene, I love it because you literally now have the aspect of like where the aliens look like all evil and, we're here to kill you. And now you see the aliens basically terrified, especially the one who's like not killed.
Cowering.
And you actually see the terror in his face, even though that the alien has no eyes, but you still see the, like, oh shit, I'm gonna die, pretty much.
Yeah, he got shot in the hand. Like, it's like you're a big tough space alien until you get a bullet in your hand. Now
exactly.
It's like, okay, and they hit this tank. No, I'm just saying they hit that tank and it explodes. Like
and as any artist out there, who's trying to learn how to make comics, with the sound effects, you have to make the sound effects be like actors as well. You just can't have like a sound effect and just throw it in there. You got to do like what Gary is here, where he literally has the F sounds, basically trying to make like the steam coming out, but he's not doing it as like a straight line or anything like that. He's literally having it curved to give it like that sound effect that you would think a gas tank would make if it's having like air slowly come out of it or rapidly coming out of it.
Right. Yeah, it would go everywhere. It wouldn't just be out like the two MIB agents talking,
Yeah.
Their words are like projected right out of their mouths. But this has multiple small holes, and it's like this is the danger of this gas going everywhere.
Yeah, because you could kind of like when you actually read it, it makes more sense. Because if you went that's not how a gas tank goes. It goes,
Right.
Once you read out, then it actually makes sense on why you should do it that way and why you should study how sound effects work when you're drawing it out in a comic.
Right. Yep. I agree. Just another textbook, like emotion in eyes without showing the eyes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Them waiting for this, because once you see a gas leak like that, you know what's imminent, and it's like he built that tension in 2 panels. Not over a page, not with a bunch of narration, just fast-paced, quick action. Like the shooting happens, they shoot the aliens, but in the consequence of them shooting the aliens is they hit the tank. And now that the tank is hit, there's one more realization that's about to come out, which is the explosion. It's like it's the same things. If you see a tanker truck on the side of the road that's been hit, the fire department keeps everybody away from it because chances are it's going to explode. And that's what happens here. But we're not dealing with regular human chemicals, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. And with this panel, I really like because it just shows that you could draw hair and make it look good, but with little, like, I don't want to say because it's very detailed here, but like very less detail. All he did was make a couple white lines to show like the hairline with the great black background. And even with the sunglasses, you don't have to show everything that's in the kitchen. All he showed was like the steam and the sound effect to indicate the whole message across.
These two, this panel and the next panel have 2 words in them, and it's "oh no." But the neit's 2 panels to me are as solid as any of the writing that we've seen at any point in this story. Because it's very establishing. And like I said, I don't know if I said it or if I was just thinking it while I was reading it, but the lack of narration boxes, like I would feel almost compelled to like try to drive home the emotion of at least this page of the detective with his glasses on, but he kept it simple. And then it meant something when his glasses got blown off his face.
Yeah.
Because you've only seen
this
him
man
with those
wearing
glasses
sunglasses at all this point.
The whole time. And then they got blown off his face, and you're like, uh-oh, like, is he dead? Like, this is a pivotal moment.
Right here, even before this panel right here, when you just saw the smoke and the sound effect, it told the readers that, okay, he knows something what's going to happen with this smoke, because that's what you want to do. Is like you want to have like this action that's happening be like, okay, because of this action, there's going to be an effect that's happening. So really great.
He was the one that said you hit the tank. Like he knew what that meant,
Yeah.
And he was already the closest to it.
Yeah. And this page I really like. You literally have the sound effect and the blast together, and with the whole speed lines, Really great
Yep.
stuff. Just really trying to take everything and making it big and bold and very impactful with, not having to say so much.
Sure. Yep.
And he did a really great job at like having the pose of the character just show that explosion effect.
And again, it's like when you go from this big boom moment,
Mm-hmm.
and then you show the outside of the cabin, the outside of this trailer, and it looks mostly the same. It almost feels like that science project where you contain an explosion in this pot or something, and it's just like poof. It's like all this chaos on the inside, but on the outside, it's just a few puffs of smoke. It's just, man, like those are the little things that can take it to the next level. It's just little stuff, man. It's just so awesome. So after you see this, you see the detective with the mustache, and I apologize for not remembering their names, guys, but I'm just kind of, this story is so good.
It's just really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go into too much detail because we talked about the house before, but just really great here because it's mostly just a white background with black lines, but he got the image across on like trying to like create smoke texture by just using line work.
If you've lived in a hot climate, like you've seen this house.
Oh, of course.
You've seen this house. It's just, I always try to write as relatable as possible. And so, no, you may not have passed this. Like if you're somebody who has lived for a lifetime up here, like I live in Maine now, but you live in Florida. I've lived in North Carolina most of my life. This is the way houses look. You know what I mean? You go out.
So I'm used to cold climax. So, we both have lived in hot and cold areas. So we know what houses look like.
Yeah. And so it's so cool because writing is relatability. And if you can make somebody look on a page because they think it's making them think of something, you keep them on the page, you'll keep them reading your book. And the action is there. And it's just these little things that invest you in pulling your eyes to the next panel and using your fingers to turn to the next page. Like that, it's just, again, it's a comic book clinic. Like this is a great book. Like, it's black and white. The detective immediately goes into saying, this is not a normal explosion. Why? How can I convey to the reader that this is not a normal explosion? Because the smoke is green. Why is this? What can this mean? Because that's not something that we get out of ours. I wouldn't use my grill if my propane tank was putting out green smoke. So it's like, why is this smoke green? What does this mean? And he's given this young man that he's trying to protect specific directions. Keep telling me your name. I might forget your name. What? You know what I mean? It's all these little things that you are also along for the ride. It's almost like somebody is rescuing you on the side of the street and saying, come with me if you want to live, put this jacket on and don't look this way and just keep up with me. And so it's like, that's how you have to keep up with this story because the aliens are behind them, but there's also an issue with this green smoke in the house.
Yeah, for sure. And I just love the facial expressions on the alien here because he's like, crap, my gun's destroyed, but what happened with the smoke, I know it's going to have an effect. So really cool. Not going to go into too much detail because we could be here for almost 2 hours talking about the detail, but just get into the meat of the story, which, there's so much of. And now you see what's happening. You see now that the whole Men in Black character, because pretty much that's what they are, go after alien and UFO sightings. and now you see his eyes just like the father's eyes when he was going crazy. So now you know it was like, okay, this smoke literally makes you hallucinate and
It
makes you
has,
freak out.
Right. And so, well, I know we're not lingering on these too much, but something that you have to take notice of, and anybody that goes back and watches this, if they're trying to figure out, if this is the book that they want to read, if you notice, all the fonts have been so clean. Everything about this book has been so clean, except for when it wasn't supposed to be. The deranged guy from last week. Now, he's talking to this scared little boy named Blake. Look at how different Blake's word bubbles are than the detectives. This is a little kid talking. So it looks like a little kid's handwriting.
Oh, yeah.
And that's such a cool touch when you don't see the little kid on the page. Like, this is I don't know, man. Like, this is just a solid piece of work. And then
now,
it's like,
and now Alice is going down the rabbit hole into Wonderland.
Yes,
this man
absolutely.
is literally freaking out at this point.
Right.
All of a sudden he was in a kitchen, and now he's out in the forest looking at a cactus with a crown in the sky. I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, this man is freaking out, and all he's focusing on is saving that kid and getting away from that alien. And pretty much he's shouting here like, Blake, where are you? And all you hear is like, I'm Blake. And he's like, okay, where's that coming from? And then you actually have some of the references, like you have the alien right here saying, I'm Blake. And the guy, he's focusing on is, the voice of the child, because he knows everything else is just an illusion, and it's going to try to steer him away from finding that child.
Look at all those eyes. And it's like, again, everything in this book is so clean, except for when it's not supposed to be. Like, this guy's eyes are like, you feel it. Like, just like looking at this space in between the stove and the cabinet where this eye is, right there is where you'd be like, oh, I'm getting dizzy. Like, if you saw that, like, you would know, it's just, it's so
like
good.
how many of us have like corners like that between the stove and fridge? It's like, oh crap, did I just see a bug? I gotta kill it or something,
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just,
and now we're getting to like really psychedelic here, where you have like the
and
whole
now we're at
psychedelic waves. You have like a peanut and some type of animal. It's like,
Snoopy.
What the hell?
It's just like, what's going on here?
Right. But I really like how he did. I really like how he did this effect. I wonder if
the art style is 100% different than anything else.
Yeah, and I like that because you as an artist, if you're going to show like a psychedelic scene, you kind of want to go with a different art style than the rest of your book to try to show that complex difference between
this,
like,
this guy is in an altered state of mind.
Yeah.
This guy's clearly in an altered state of mind. Like, that background is not, it's not an easy background.
And then in the next panel, you have like this humanoid owl, and then you got Rocky from Bullwinkle. I'm like, and if anyone doesn't know, like we said in the beginning, this takes place in 1975. So Rocky and Bullwinkle was very big back then.
That would have been in his subconsciousness somewhere, right?
And it sucks that it wasn't Bullwinkle, because I do a great Bullwinkle, but I can't do a Rocky voice.
I can't do a Rocky voice, but I definitely hear the Rocky voice, like saying, I'm Blake, Yeah.
But it's like, how would it Bullwinkle go? I'm Bullwinkle.
That is a good Bullwinkle. That's too funny.
Yeah, right. But yeah, just You know, right here, these two panels, like this guy is literally freaking out because he just sees a giant humanoid owl that looks very demented, and then you have like a kid's cartoon just talking to him.
Right? Yeah, man, it's bananas.
Right?
And
It's
like the
like
look
shit
on
hit the
his
fan.
face is
But,
even like, uh-oh.
yeah. And I really like the drool coming from down his mouth because you could tell it's like, okay, now I'm really freaking out at this point, and I really don't know what's going on. And he's just trying to fight so hard at this point to find that child and not let the hallucination smoke get to him.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Just
I love the humanoid owl. I mean, of course, this channel, Crimson Owl Comics, I love owls because that's my logo, and I just love the texture here. And just the whole fact that you want to get across that this owl is probably the alien that he just sees in like a crazy way. So
right.
yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's
This
just,
scene
it's
I really
very
like.
easy. Look at that.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, I don't really know how to put this. Like, this is art. Like, this page in particular that's a piece of art, man. Like, that's just like inside and outside at nighttime and the daytime, but still in this kitchen. It's just very, it's a very, this is not a splash page either. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, this is a panel. Like, this is work. Like, just.
But he shows the details still, even though that there ain't much, because he has the outline, the white outline of where the stove is, you know.
This
and then
book
he has
needs,
the outdoor
like, you
to
need
the
to
door.
purchase this book.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Buy
need
the
to
book.
purchase this book.
I have the
man.
Etsy. I have the Etsy link. He has his books. Go ahead and purchase it, because this scene right here I really like, because you see the mountains that you would see in Arizona, because I think that's where it takes place, in Arizona, because that literally looks like the Arizona mountains that you would see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
like, no,
really nice.
it's just such a great book, you know, and this guy is like trying to cling on to reality, and you see his pupils are trying to come back, but they're still not there yet. And obviously they're not, because there's a giant death bird with like man legs.
Yeah, and this right here, you could see it's terrifying. And this is sometimes where you have the horror aspects. It's just a black outline of an owl, and all he focused on was the teeth and the eyes. And the teeth and the eyes, that alone spelled horror. And it's like, you do not want to see this if you're down an alley.
Nope. I don't want to see it if I'm in a penthouse. I don't want to see that anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's bad news.
Yeah, really, really great. I just really enjoy this book, and I can't wait for the next one we're gonna do. But
yeah,
let's just, oh man. And this one I really, really like. And I had to use the thumbnail
Howdy
for
Doody.
this, because you have Howdy Doody here, you have the owl, and you have literally everything that's like trying to attack him at this point to stop him to go out the door, because it's literally like symbolic. It's like, okay, you have all these things that's attacking you, and then you have this one door that's leading to outside. So it's kind of showing you like, okay, this man is freaking out, like if Batman was freaking out with the whole scarecrow toxin.
Right, I would say with the fear toxin. Yep.
Yeah, like the fear toxin. And it's like your mind is showing you, okay, this door is the door to exit out of, to get out of all this madness that's happening right now. Like, this is a pathway to the next step on how to clear your mind from all this craziness and the toxin that's getting to you.
Right.
Very symbolic. I like it.
Yeah, and it's almost like the whatever this smoke in this canister is wants to overtake him. It's almost like it's conscious, because it's like it's trying to stop him from getting out of the door, because it knows that it knows that he wants to find Blake at all costs. So it's trying to make him hear Blake everywhere except for where he needs to get to survive.
Yeah. And then here you just see him attacking the owl, and you just see a little bird. And then you just see a spider. So literally at this point, his mind, the toxin is realizing that, okay, this man is catching on, and we have to just stop him at any point.
Scare him and scare him. Yeah. Scarier and scarier. Like, who knows if he has a fear of spiders, And
then right here, you literally see like basically a soldier saying, "I'm Blake." Who knows? Maybe this man has been in war, and he's just picturing like one of his old buddies that got his face and his head blew off.
Right.
Right. We don't know about this story.
It's scary because it lives in your subconscious. And if it lives in your subconscious, it knows that you're going to react to it.
Yeah, so this is probably stuff that he like has fears about, that he's like reliving in a real environment almost, So yeah, really great stuff. And I love the detail.
We're going through these panels quickly, but man, these are good. This is good artwork, and this is good storytelling. Like this is where it's like you transition from, are you a good writer or are you a good storyteller?
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot said in most of these pages other than "I'm Blake," but the story is so compelling that you're not looking for any kind of guidance. You are on the ride, and that's where you want to get people as a storyteller, whether it's through your art or your writing. You want to get people invested in the story more than anything that's actually happening on the page. It's kind of like, not to start my rambling shit, but
no, I mean it's great because just focusing on the soldier alone, you could see how detailed the gore is there, with the whole eyeball and the drooping of the blood, and just he did a really good job at like selling like this soldier's face blown off, and you could literally see like the bone and everything on where the neck had separated. Just really great detail right there.
And you ever seen those things online where it says like, people don't really need to read every single letter in the word to know what it says. They read the first letter and the last letter, and they get the gist of that's what's happening here. It's like, you don't need a lot of dialogue to guide you through this. That this man is trapped in a house with some kind of toxic gas, and it's affected his mind. He's aware of what's going to happen, and he's trying to save this kid. But now you're just trying to get out of the house with them and with them. So you don't need a lot of dialogue. But that doesn't mean that it's not a story that's not writing heavy, because the story is still being told. I don't know what that alien is saying, but it's probably something about not being stuck in that door frame.
Yeah.
And
then right here, it goes from the soldier to like the shadow appearance, like just simple detail, a white outline of showing the figure with teeth and eyes. And it's like, okay, that is scary enough for young readers to pick it up. Like, okay, that's going to give me nightmares,
That's a jump scare for this book,
Like pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the horror element is it's so unexpected in this book.
Yeah.
Because the book is such a sci-fi heavy story, but it makes the horror hit harder. It makes it hit harder when, this guy is going through this, neurotoxin issue, and, he's fighting an alien for real now. Like,
now you can see the alien in there.
Right. Yeah.
You can literally tell at this point, he's literally fighting the alien the alien's trying to trick who he is.
Yeah.
And this scene is just really cool, with the whole eyes and the trippy squiggly lines. And it's like, now he's like, who are you? This right here would be a great like image on the wall. Just very psychedelic and creepy at the same time.
I tell you what, in 1998, like Jinko's Jason, this is a blacklight poster that I would have loved to have had on my wall.
Yeah.
And now I appreciate it even more. You know, it's just, and I appreciate it in black and white. Like it's just so cool. Like this picture is you get that 75 psychedelic vibe to it, but it would be like way beyond that, which is, you know, it's that same vibe. It's just every page is conscious, almost like every page is like a complement of the page ahead of it on purpose. And it's just A1 through and through.
And right here, just pure, the panel's mostly completely black, but you could literally see like this man at point is like feeling emotional. And I don't know what the alien's allowing to happen, but it's like maybe the alien's freaking out too, because the alien's literally breathing in the same gas he's breathing in. You know, that's what I'm kind of indicating, because the alien probably is like, okay, this guy's shouting for Blake. Who am I? Maybe I'm Blake, you know. Right. You don't know what's going on. All you see is the alien.
Right.
And then going on to the next panel, we literally see that that person was the kid after a long, and he was just freaking out that it was the alien.
Yep.
But yeah, just very cool stuff.
So something I want to ask Gary about if we get to talk to him. And I was going to mention it if he was in the chat. This panel right up above where you just were, it's the only page that I noticed where the page number is upside down. And I wondered if that was like your indicator that this was a hallucination, because
I didn't realize that. Good call.
Yeah. You know, I know that is a visual cue sometimes that movies will use, where they'll shoot a scene upside down. And, you know, for what we do, a page is a scene. So if the page number is upside down, I wonder if that was your cue of, okay, this is not this panel in particular. You know that there are hallucinations, but the tension is risen so much. I don't want you to get, if you're into it, I don't want you to get too confused. Like, this is not the alien.
And of course, he did it with 31. So when it was turned backwards, it kind of indicated 13 for, you know, bad luck and everything, like superstitious, you know.
Yep.
Because, I mean, you could have done that with any number of the pages, but you did that with 31. So it makes me think if you had a purpose on using that for a reason.
Right.
Yeah. So pretty much at this point, Blake had found the kid, threw him out and everything, but Blake is still freaking out. You know, all he sees is a giant eye and whatever this like symbol is, and we know
he's that outside. Eye. That eye looks so gross, but it's the UFO. That eye is the UFO. This scarab is the side of the house. You can see the smoke coming out of the hole in the side of the house. It's just this super. Man, this book is crazy. This book is so crazy,
very psychedelic.
Man. Like,
it's a very psychedelic page.
It's all there, man. It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. Look at that.
And now you pretty much see what's really there. You know?
Gary Hodges is a fool, man. Like, this book is nuts. Like, this art is the rabbit hole. Like,
yeah, definitely. When we have him on the show, I'm gonna ask him, how long did it really take you to draw these pages? Like, how many years was you working on this first book?
This book is nuts, man. This book is wild. Awesome stuff. And it's like you can hear that UFO like hanging silently in the air, man. It's like, this is so good.
And now at this point, you literally have the agent outside with Blake, and now you realize that Blake is upset because he has a baby brother named Nathaniel.
Yeah, you thought the race was to get out of the house.
Nathan. Yeah, Nathan, my fault.
Now, not only is the race to save the baby, but he's got to go back in this gas house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from Gastonia, North Carolina. And nobody, like, if you get out, like, it's hard to want to go back to the gas house, man. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine that but he's clear, he's thinking, he gets a shotgun, he gets his mask. This car is
the mask there indicates
at all angles.
With the mask here, you knew he indicated that, okay, this is something that we came across before, and we didn't grab the mask like we should have. Right,
which is why the first thing that the other guy said was, hey, George, you hit the tank.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
All right. No. He didn't say George hit the tank. He told George that he hit the tank. That's what it was.
Yeah. But, very, very nice detail here, just with the whole white background and black lines.
This car is the cars in this Dinosaurs versus Marsbots 75 are great, guys. It's great. Like if I imagine, like, if you were like doing like a list of like all the visual things that are awesome about this book, and there's a lot of things. The cars are up there. Like the lines on the cars, the symmetry is like spot on. There's no deviation. Like, he studied 1975 cars to make sure that that there was nothing out of place. Just
for sure.
Good stuff.
And now he's calling for his friend George. And it's like, okay, George, what's going on? And now you see at this point, literally there's blood everywhere. There's footprints. And he's like trying to find his friend. And all there is just chaos, body parts everywhere. And then he's like, okay, let me find the baby, because maybe that's where George is. And there we are. George is literally looking at that baby, and all you realize is that, okay, George is freaking out, and he's standing in front of that baby. What does he see that we don't see?
He's brandishing a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that face. It's bad.
Like, the man has literally gone insane at this point and literally lost his mind, unlike his friend.
Didn't get out of the gas at all. You know what I mean? And he went deeper into it, and he was closer to it longer.
Yeah, exactly. So if there was any fight in him, it's gone at this point.
Yeah.
But really great detail in the face. It really shows like the action, or basically his sanity is completely gone.
Yeah.
And now we get to see why he's getting ready to cock this gun, because he literally sees something that his buddy doesn't see. And it's like, even this face right here. I mean, look at how horrified this face is of his. Like, he's really spaced out. And I just love this facial feature right here, because it really tells that this man is like, wow, I don't know what's going on, where I'm at, but I'm going to freaking shoot my way out of it.
Hang on, Ronnie. Yeah. Go back up to this panel with George and his gas mask, and check out how you can see, you can see George in Ruben's gas mask.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ruben, that's his name. Yeah, Ruben. You can literally see his shadow reflection.
That's attention to detail. Like,
of course, exactly.
Throughout this whole book, there's attention to detail, but there are a few times like it needs to be brought. That these are all things that you should look. And it's like, to get this book, man, it's like, once you read it, I read it twice. Like, I read this first one twice, because once I really started to get into it, like, I loved it from the beginning, but once you really start to get into the story, you realize how many subtle clues and cues there are throughout. And it made me want to go back and just look at it with a little bit more, I don't want to say critical in the sense of a judgmental eye, but just a more curious eye, being able to look at it. Hey, thanks for popping in. Just saying, that's awesome.
Yeah, just saying, man. Appreciate stopping by. And Oh, you got your copies? So awesome. If you got your copies of Gary's work, I mean, just read it, man. It's really great stuff.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Like
Yeah,
this
Happy
is
New Year.
yeah, this is the way to ring in the New Year is like reading cool comics. So we're gonna try
Exactly.
to. I'm trying to make them. I know Ronnie's trying to make them, and we love reading them, man. And it's like this one is definitely up there. Like this is
Oh,
an
yeah.
awesome book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
So
I just have to say the detail in the gun, just being in black and white, very detailed. Especially
the
with the
lighting,
page where his like you see his George's face like completely in shock. Look at the detail on the chambers there. I mean, really nice.
yeah,
Just being a white outline.
yep. It's like the lighting is solid
Mm-hmm.
on the gun. It shows that it's the hard material between the two men's suits. Like they're all black, but their black is flat on their suits.
Yeah.
And
And now,
he knows he's got to
yeah.
put that baby away or the gun's got to go away.
Mm-hmm. And now we see why he's been looking at the baby and he wants to shoot it. This is what he sees. Instead of the crying baby, he literally sees an alien being cut open and basically worked on to be studied. I mean, to me personally, when I see this alien, I feel sorry for the alien. I want to shoot the people that's cut him open. You know what I mean? But it's crazy.
I gotta write so many notes down. Like there's so many little things that I'm just like,
mm-hmm.
You see it, and I remember seeing this stuff. Like I remember reading these books. I remember watching these shows. Like I remember seeing this alien, and I wonder if I wonder if Gary saw the same alien I did, or if it's just a coincidence. But like this book is just, it's so good, man. It's just like it's very inspiring as a creator to read something like this and to say, okay, I want to create something this cool. Like this is your benchmark. Like it's really, really cool.
There's one alien movie that comes into mind. I wish I knew what the name was. It was about a guy that literally got abducted and he's on the alien ship. And at one point they're literally experimenting on him. And you see this little small needle slowly going towards his eye. I can't remember what the name is. It'll come to me, but yeah, it's a really good movie. But yeah, but just really great transition, and I love it.
Yep.
I'll let you talk about a little about this panel a little.
Yep. So, you know, as the story goes on, you can tell that Ruben knows that George is gone, but he doesn't want to kill his partner. So if he knows that if he can get him outside, maybe he can at least apprehend him instead of having to, it go any further than that. He just wants to get him away from the baby. That's the first goal is to get him away from the baby. Oh, I can't scroll down. I was gonna see if I can scroll down on here, but I forgot that this is your screen share.
Yeah.
So it's all good. So and you can
that
see
panel's awesome.
Right. You can see that George was trying to fight it until he looks, and it's like, how do you go with that and ignore the surgical team cutting open the space alien?
Oh yeah,
like,
I found the movie. This movie actually made me scared as a kid. Fire in the Sky.
I remember that movie. Yeah,
literally,
that was based on a true story.
Yeah, pretty much. And the whole movie was like, one part of the movie that reminded me of that was when they put him on this like table to experiment on him, and literally they put like a blanket, but the blanket became like a suction and it became skin tight, and they put like brown like goo or something in his mouth, and you just saw a little small needle getting closer and closer to his eye. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah. But so, I really like this panel here.
Yeah, he sees Ruben as basically like one of the Yeah, it's like one of the it was one of the Crowley aliens. It looks like I recognize it from the triangle on this thing. I think it was Iwas or Lamb, one of those two.
Oh yeah.
Alistair Crowley said he saw him when he was in the pyramid doing all these, and it was the same big head with the big collar on. It's just what it made me think of. But just like these references are, this book is a fruit of research. Like it really, really is. So,
and you could see also that alien hand is different than the other ones because it has claws and everything. So yeah.
Yep.
And I just hope that we actually see more detail of what these aliens look like in the future books, because I want to know what this looks like, because he's literally looking at his friend Ruben terrified because he's like freaking out. I'm like, okay, I know what this is. This is like the worst alien to fight against.
Right. But it's just Ruben in a gas mask, it's just
exactly.
Like you, again, just like with the outside of the house, like you can see like the frame of the gas mask. He just sees it. He sees the pupils as the pupils are his reflection.
Awesome 2 panels. I love these 2 panels.
Yeah.
Like you see like the horror, the creepiness of this alien. Like you don't need to see the whole alien's face. You just see the outline in the eyes. And like, okay, this is like one alien you do not want to mess with, that where literally his friend is like, okay, I got to stop you because you're the worst of the worst.
Right.
So, yeah. And just can't get enough really great detail and facial features. But man, great book. And now you literally have the kid looking outside at the spaceship, and then you hear boom. It's like, what just happened? I mean, you as a reader at this point, you kind of realize what happened. It's like his friend was getting ready to kill a baby. So it's like there's only one thing. And
right, but who is it? You don't know who it is.
Out.
Right.
You see Ruben walking out with the baby. So we know at this point that his friend's probably dead. He probably had to shoot his friend and put him down.
Yep.
And yeah, he's like, is your friend with Randy and Karen? Probably like maybe his foster parents or something, because I would think
the
like
two people. It was the two people. It was the 2 people who got blown up. The person that got blown up in the house. The woman was Karen, and then Randy was the guy that got struck by lightning in the house.
So we know at this point he literally had to kill his own friend.
Yeah.
And just, yeah.
But then it fades right back into where the story started, which is into these like classified documents with, it's just like, this is what you read.
Yeah. And we get the end here. But I just love how he has like this Arizona report, October 2nd, 1975. And looking at this right here, it literally looks like something that you would see as a classified newspaper article that, people could go to the library and look up. I mean, just
looks like microfilm or microfiche.
Yeah, exactly. Microfilm. Yeah. Really great detail so cool. On just trying to like capture the readers into this world that, okay, you got classified files like this one up here that has black ink, because maybe those certain words you don't want the person, whoever finds the files, to realize what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, just very great work. I can't say enough of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is Arizona. That's what I thought, because once I saw those mountains in the background, I was like, okay, that has to be Arizona.
Yep. This book is is a 10 out of 10 book. It really is. Like,
I give it a 10 out of 10 too. Yeah.
It's a 10 out of 10.
I'm glad you thought that. Yep.
Yeah. I really don't want to pass those out. Like, I was really convinced that I would never do another one after Uzumaki, but this is a good book. Like, this book belongs on any bookshelf of anybody who is a fan of sci-fi, not just of comics, but of sci-fi, of X-Files, of
Yeah.
storytelling,
If you're
of
an X-Files
UFOs.
fan, you're gonna like this.
Yep.
Period.
This is one of those stories that somebody could get a hold to, and you could, you could see this on Amazon Prime or Netflix or something like that, because the meat's there. The all the meat is there. So no, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
It
10 out of
is.
10 for me too.
So
right there, we're going to end it. And then next week, we're going to start up with volume 2, which is 1997.
Let's go.
So do you have anything to promote before we leave?
The mini comic bundles are going off, guys. Like bundle 4 should be shipping out soon. Minicomicbundles.com. Get all your information. I will say, if you do sign up for the year up front, you do get access to webcomics, a lot of background stuff that we're developing, but our first webcomic will be releasing in January. It's called The Briefing. It's a sci-fi story. Like it's very much accidentally in the same vein, or it's very much in the same vein as to what Gary tapped into a little bit here. What do you do with the truth that you don't want, that you can't speak, or do you speak the truth that you shouldn't speak? I know it's a very interesting concept. I'm very, very proud of it. I know Aaron's gonna dominate this story, so I'm excited to see what it looks like completed, but that's coming up soon. Like, damn, it's January now. This is it. So stay tuned, guys. Like,
and then for me, everyone knows that I'm working on like my horror comic, and I'm doing the 12 Holidays of Horror, and I got my baby New Year that I am working on, and I'm gonna show you a little preview of that on my phone. Let's see if I could actually. No, maybe I have to bring it up on the thing. Let me see.
I've seen it, guys. It's so awesome. These are coming together pretty cool. I can't wait to see. Yeah. I can't wait to see what it looks like when you have them all collected. Like, I think it's going to be a pretty cool calendar.
Let's see if I can get it up. But with everything going on with 2020, what would you say was your best out of 2020?
My best out of 2020 was starting. I guess my best was just starting to see my work getting published. Starting to see my ideas existing. Realizing that you and I busted ass, and through health and work, and I moved in the middle of 2020. It's I don't know, man. It's like I feel like we have a bright future in front of us. Especially with the channel. I'm curious to see what happens next with it. We are going to do a horror comic, and so I think that's really, really cool too. So, I think that 2021, I'm not foolish enough to challenge the universe anymore and say it can't get any worse. So I'm just going to say we'll try to make the good stuff louder. You know what I mean? Like that, and just kind of go into 2021 with that energy. And I gotta say, man.
But I appreciate you. I can't say it enough. I appreciate you for joining and wanting to do this show with me. I had a great idea to like do a horror comics review show, and we build a great friendship in the Discord of Marshall Lee's, and I was really happy to really found you, man.
2020 has been a crazy, crazy year, man. But I'm glad that we got a friendship out of it, and you might have made a horror writer. Like, look at that, guys. Yeah, man. So
Look at that evil baby New Year. And that's not even done yet. Like, I got to add the background and add his little rattle in his hand. That's going to be having an eyeball on the rattle part.
Awesome, man. That's so cool.
So tomorrow, New Year's Day, that's going to be up on my Ko-fi account for purchase.
Yeah. You have your Ko-fi link?
I have my Ko-fi link. It is not in the banner, but it is in the description box. Awesome. So if anyone wants to check that out, go right ahead. Because right now you could buy the dish. You're going to be able to buy the digital copy tomorrow for $5. But I am working on getting like a physical, like printed poster out, so that way I can mail it off to any of my fans who wants to buy it from my Ko-fi account. Coming really soon in the future. And I haven't told you, but I am working on a great logo design for us for the new year.
Yeah,
and it's gonna have features of all of our favorite books right now. So you know, I'm probably gonna tweak your design up a little bit, especially with the eyes. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm excited, man. I can't wait.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us.
Y'all be good. I'm gonna go play some Mario Kart.
Yep. I'm Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Isle Comics. My
Fall Breaker Studios. Hey, rest in peace, MF Doom.
Yes,
fantastic artist. I'm heartbroken that he passed, but we got volumes and volumes and volumes of music to go through and listen to. So if you love MF Doom, whenever you watch this, man, like please just go listen to MF Doom. Read Gary Hodges' awesome book, like Dinosaurs versus Marsbots 75 and 97 is banging. Anybody would do well to match Gary's level of passion and attention to detail.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I match Gary's attention to detail, I would lose my regular job because I don't have time. Like this stuff is phenomenal, you know. Exactly. No, but yeah. Hey, let's get out of here. Y'all be good.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
See you next year.
Y'all be good. Don't fight. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Don't pick your nose.
Exactly. Bye.
Bye.